So Garth Davis is wrong on many accounts, but he won't tell you that because he's a smug, thinks he knows it all. He's basically just an arrogant prick that I find particularly distasteful. And so he probably has a bunch of visceral fat from eating all his fruit smoothies and all the fruit garbage he eats.
Huh? He's fat? Garth Davis is fat now? So Garth Davis is just bursting with visceral fat from underneath his breasts and six-pack. What? Dude, everybody's seen this picture of Garth Davis from 2015 looking pretty ripped. And you could say that's a while ago. Well, what about 2017? Here's a picture of him from 2017 looking pretty lean. You know, nobody stays 6% year round, but he's still looking pretty lean in 2017. So when was he fat? Huh? We could bring the clock all the way up to present day. Here he is in February of 2020, looking lean, if not as lean as he was 5 years ago. So when was Garth Davis fat? Or where is this visceral fat hiding out, man? Is it underneath his six-pack? I don't know where you guys are getting this from. It sounds like you just don't like Garth Davis, dude. Is that what this is about?
So anyway, this guy, Garth Davis, who is certainly my probably least favorite vegan doctor.
Look, it's the internet, man. You're talking to the whole world. So there's always going to be somebody fitter, more jacked, more shredded, more alpha, who's going to talk down to the next person on the chain and say, oh, you're not shredded enough, your biceps aren't big enough, or whatever it is for this circumstance. And we see that because Shawn Baker got called out for the same thing.
No offense to Shawn Baker, for a 53-year-old man, he looks fantastic. But he's not lean. Like, if this fat, protein, meat-only diet couldn't be stored as fat, if all you're going to do is just utilize all the nutrients, you could have a testosterone level of 200, which I think his was around like 200, 250, but yet your body utilizes, some bullshit excuse like your body utilizes more of the testosterone, so it doesn't need to be as high, which makes no fucking sense. Maybe it does make sense. I'm sure some haters in the comments will make sense of it. But I like Shawn Baker. I really think he's one of the smarter guys. And I thank God he came up. I thank God he is on this earth. Because if it wasn't for him, the vegans would be running wild with some bullshit. Right? I think Shawn Baker is what the world needed. I'm a fucking fan. I follow him on Instagram. I comment. I love Shawn. I'm a fan. I'm in the Shawn Baker fan club, but he's not shredded. He's not lean. If this diet was the almighty diet, why can't he stay lean year round? If he doesn't need steroids and hormones, why can't he be lean like me year round? I'm just asking that. The guy adheres to his diet, right? He eats fucking ribeye 12 times a day. Shouldn't he be like fucking 2% body fat if this shit was true? And vegans. Oh, well.
But let's talk about, the criticism that I'm too fat. So this is a picture of me earlier this year. I'm probably hovering, a little bit above 10% body fat at this level. In that picture, I was closer to about 230 pounds. This was earlier this year. And then this was me yesterday, just in a hotel room, woke up, just popped out of bed. This is a performance here. And I'm closer to 240 pounds in that picture. And I'm clearly not quite as lean, but I'm eating 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 calories a day, as much steak as I could possibly cram down my gullet, and that's as fat as I get, right? That's as fat as I get. Now, he's saying, why aren't you 2% body fat? Why aren't you super ripped and lean? One, I don't want to be super ripped and lean because it tanks performance. Anybody that's down at that lower levels of body fat will realize that being extremely low levels of body fat is not good for performance. You might look good on stage, but you feel like absolute shit, right? I don't want to do that. I'd rather perform.
Look, man, because if you don't like him, then why don't you have a debate with him? Or, you know what? I have a better idea, since you're talking about fructose causing fatty liver, and you said that even fruit could do that.
And that is true. But what you do have is often elevated triglycerides and visceral fat. And so if you were to do a, fatty liver index, look at their GGT levels, look at their triglyceride levels, ultrasound these fruitarians, you'll find a lot of them will have significant visceral fat, fatty liver. And this is what they're not telling you, because maybe you're skinny, but you still have these metabolic problems.
Or in the case of fruitarians, whatever case you're talking about, man, why don't you have a debate with Dr. Avi and Kevin Bass on the Diet Wars podcast, and you could share your little fruit causes a fatty liver anecdote or idea, fantasy thing. Why don't you flesh that out with those guys who are really down to dig into the research and examine your claims? I would watch that. That would be highly entertaining. Or unless you were too busy like rolling around in a pit in your backyard with some 30-year-old doctor who lives in a different country, right?
So this guy is just the typical weasel guy. I got a big pit in my backyard, Leo. It's got walls in it. You can come to my house and you can go throw down there. No rules. See what happens. You're writing checks with your mouth that your body can't cash. This is the problem. I've been watching too many damn movies, okay? Unless you're some phenom martial artist, which you aren't, you better think what you're talking about, all right?
I'll catch y'all on the next video. Make sure you got that notification bell checked, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all know what time it is. Red Pill Vegan. Next.